Welcome to Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, back again with another episode, y'all. I want to ask y'all a question, especially those of you out there that have a loved one in prison. Have they ever told you a story, any type of story about Peter Beach? Have you ever heard anybody use that terminology about what Peter Beach is, right? Well, if you haven't, you're going to hear that story today. I'm going to tell you what Peter Beach is, what it's about, and the behaviors that go on when people visit Peter Beach. So I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy the show. I first learned about Peter Beach when I was transferred to an East Tennessee prison. I had never heard about it. I had never heard the terminology used or anything like that. But when I got to the compound, when I got off the bus, I ran into this guy that I knew from another prison. And when I was pulling my bags off, because you got when you get off the bus, you take your property and then you got to go into this building and then they search you, strip search you before they allow you on the compound, right? So while I was pulling my bags into the building, I saw him coming out of the chow hall. And I spoke to him, he spoke to me, we spoke to each other, and everything was good. And as I'm pulling my stuff into the building, I look back and I see this other guy that comes up around to him, right? And he puts his arms around him, right? At, Initially, I didn't think anything about it because a lot of times in here, when you're having a conversation with somebody, you put your arm around their neck or they'll put the arm around your neck and you huddle a little bit and you say what you got to say. But as I kept looking back, pulling my bags into the building, I noticed that the arm went from the neck to the waist. So I was thinking, like, dang, what that's all about? So I went on into the building. So it took about an hour before I was processed and all of the things that they do. When you get there, they go through all of your property, make sure that you have what you're supposed to have. They take away what you're not supposed to have because each institution is you can have this at one place and you can't have this at another, right? Some places won't let you have soda that's in a plastic. Some places won't let you have soda in a can. So they take all of the things and get you in compliance before they allow you on the compound. And they strip search and make sure you don't have any contraband that you're trying to smuggle in and all of that kind of stuff, right? So boom, after about an hour, I make it onto the compound. And once I get on the compound, I'm walking around and I get to the unit that I'm gonna be living in. So I introduce myself to my cellie and all of this and that, and he's a peon, and he tells me what the compound is like. And I'm listening to him, but I'm really not concerned because I don't take my cues from a peon. But I'm listening to him, out of respect for the situation. He's been here, so on and so forth. So he knows a little bit. So I was like, "Where's the ball field at?" And he said, "Well, you gotta wait for the call out." And the call out basically is a certain time that the institution will allow movement to and fro for anybody on the compound wherever you want to go. So I get my stuff situated, put on the shelf, clean up the area that I'm gonna be sleeping in, and all of that kind of stuff. So now I'm just waiting on the call out. Call out comes, and I go to the ball field. While I'm walking down to the ball field, I see a couple of the guys. They're approaching me. They already know who I am. They know what I look like from pictures. We didn't have cell phones back then, but a lot of the guys would share pictures through the mail and stuff like that of different people that were in positions of authority. And because I was in a position of authority, people knew what I looked like all over. And so anytime you hear somebody's getting shipped, they would be looking for certain people. You know what I'm saying? So they approached me and they said, "Speak to me. What's up, bro? This is now." I said, "Man, where's the nine at? Who's the nine?" And they told me who the nine was. I said, "Take me to him." And we walked down on the ball field. And while we're walking down on the ball field, they're trying to tell me what the place is like and, the people on the compound, and just trying to get me familiar with my new surroundings. This is how it is. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's what's up. So they tell me the place is pretty laid back. You can get your money if you want to do that. They got some good jobs and all of that old kind of stuff, right? So, I'm telling them a little bit about myself. They're telling me a lot about themselves. And they just seem to be excited to be around me. So as we get all the way down to the ball field, and we're approaching the other guys, they're waiting. It's a group of them. They're waiting on. So we get down there, and everybody embraces me. What's up, bro? This and that, hugging, putting the G in the back. And what that means basically, when you hug a brother, what I'm saying, you write a G in the back. You simulate writing a G in the back with your right fist, right? And then you pound the back like that, right? You know what I'm saying? They're almost just stamping each other, right? So after all the introductions and meeting everybody, now the nine is taking me around the compound, walking me around the ball field. So as we're walking, I notice at the volleyball court, they're not playing volleyball. The net is not even up. But the volleyball court, all of that sand at the volleyball court, you got people laying in the sand, on tiles, of course, tanning and chilling, and they got boom boxes blasting, and I see, people just having a good time. But then I start to notice, I'm like, bro, I said, what's going on over there? What are they doing over there? Because you got people over there with short shorts on. I'm talking about, look, these ain't Daisy Dukes. I don't know what they are, but you can see butt cheeks. You got legs that's got so much baby oil on them. They had to be over there cooking. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a hot day. And like I say, I see one guy, he's sitting on the tile. He's got his cooler next to him with some soda pop on ice. You feel me? And then it's another dude with he's laying sideways, catacomb. His head is laying in his lap, and he's reading a book to him. I said, oh my God, this is Central Park, ain't it? What's going on up here? And I'm looking, and everybody is like coupled up. I'm like, oh man. And then bro said, man, that's Peter Beach. I said, Peter Beach? I said, what's Peter Beach? He said, Peter Beach, that's where all the gay dudes hang out. I said, what? And they let this happen? They don't say nothing to him? And now I can't take my eyes off of this area, right? I'm not with it, but I can't take my eyes because it blew my mind. I'm not trying to be mean towards anybody, anything. I'm just looking over there, and I'm looking, I see they got on t-shirts like halter tops, skiing out, putting suntan lotion on each other, baby oil on each other. Some of them over there slick, getting head. Some of them over there master. Hey, it's going down. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's going down. So now we get further away because we're walking. I keep turning around looking. I'm like, what? What is going on? Because the officer is walking laps too. And he goes by there and he stops. He says, hey, how y'all doing? Speaking to him over there. All of this and that. Nothing is being said. Nothing is being said whatsoever. They're not doing the sexual stuff in front of him. You know what I mean? But nothing is being said. So after a while, we kept walking. And every time we walk by, I find myself just glancing over like, what are they doing now? So it was this big dude. I'm telling you, this dude was huge. I don't know if you ever watched this show called Viking. It's a series of shows that come on. Or maybe Braveheart. Maybe you might remember that movie with, I forget the actor in it. But anyway, there was this dude that was big like that dude on Viking. Got the beard. He got the red beard and everything. I mean, this dude was huge. He's probably about 6'4", but I couldn't really tell because he's sitting down and this other dude is laying, he got his head laying in his lap, reading a book. He's reading to the big dude while the big dude, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all now, while the big dude is feeding him something. I couldn't tell what it was. It might have been popcorn or potato chips or something like that. But he's feeding him. I said, man, look at this, man. What is going on? All of a sudden, while we're walking, dude reaches into the cooler and grabs something. I don't know what it was. And the dude, the smaller dude, the shorter dude rather, he sets up, flips around, and dude puts something on the dude's toes. He rubs something all over his toes. And the next thing I know, this dude was tall and big. Next thing I know, he gets on his knees and he's leaning down. He's sucking the dude's toes. I fell out loud. I said, man, wait a minute now. Y'all got soft porn going on up here. What is going on, man? What is going on? And it's like nobody really is paying attention to it. And it was just going down. And I said, man, they doing it like that up here, man. I said, do we got any brothers that be, slick doing this and slick doing that? He said, man, since that memo came out, they said that, if you got over 25 years, you can have a boy and do this and do that. I said, nah. I said, look here, bro. I said, we ain't doing that up here. He said, what you mean we ain't doing that up here? I said, man, look here, we ain't doing it. And at this time, I'm number 3 in the state, right? The state treasurer. I said, we ain't doing that. We ain't finna do that up here. And I noticed the look on his face, and he was like, man, I'm supporting you, whatever you say. That's how we're gonna do it then. I said, well, we'll find out later. I said, but just let me know, man, if you got anybody to be coming over here to this Peter Beach, man, because it's going down over this Peter Beach, and we ain't finna have no brothers over here doing that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, to each his own, but not when you GD. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to share that with y'all and throw that out there. If any of your family members is locked up ever told you anything about Peter Beach, because Peter Beach is real. You know what I'm saying? They out there sunbathing and everything and doing what they do on the beach. They call it the beach because it's the sand out there. But y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Just another one of those things that happens in the penitentiary. And it speaks to a larger issue of, people get lonely in here, but not that lonely. I'm not thinking to get that lonely. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.